down, 'cause we are mendable. 'Cause when you're with me, then I know it's where I'm supposed to be, where you can feel free. You'll never know how much you mean to me, my family.
There's an old English proverb that says that a problem shared is a problem halved, meaning that if you talk to somebody about a problem, something that's on your mind, something that's stressing you, sometimes just getting another person's perspective can make you feel a little bit better and put it into more perspective yourself. And that's one of the things that we're about at Mendable, is providing a place for people to share their stories and get support from others. But that's in the most simplest sense. But sometimes when things do get more serious, we really do need professional help. We need to go to people who are properly trained to be able to deal with some of the more complex matters surrounding mental health. And I have one of those people with me today, joining me from the fine city of Portland in Oregon on the west coast of the USA. I have Erick Allen. So Erick, good morning. How are you today? Great to see you.
Excelente. Every day is a holiday and every meal is a feast.
Great philosophy to have there. So Erick, you're a licensed counselor, you're also an entrepreneur, and you're a podcast host yourself. So a little intimidating to be hosting a podcast for somebody who is themselves a host, but maybe we can learn a little bit from each other.
Oh, we will. We definitely will. So before we even get started, just call me EA. It's faster and quicker. You know what I'm saying? Erick, it takes a little bit longer. EA is quick. Choo! So I want to be choo.
You got it, EA. 2 syllables, but a little bit sharper. Got
Yes. Yes.
All right. So one of the first things I'd like to ask you is that as a counselor, my impression, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my impression of a lot of people who are counselors is that they're usually very discreet, very quiet people, very private people, but you seem to be very much a public figure. You host the podcast channel. You do a lot to raise awareness about mental health and mental well-being. Do you consider yourself a little bit different from the norm, or is that just who you are?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. When I was growing up, my idea of a counselor was like exactly what you just mentioned, everything like that. And I'm the total opposite. I do a lot. I'm out there. I'm more like visible. I like to be visible. I'm not private. I'm very transparent. My life is an open book. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the way people connect to people, you know, by seeing the real people, you know, so.
And you've got close to 20,000 followers on Instagram. Is that just general life stuff that you put out there, or is it mental health related?
It's a combination of both. Like my personal page at EA the Genius it's a combination. I was in the music business for a long time. I had a record deal signed with Warner Brothers as a manager and an artist. So that was where a lot of my, you know, prestige come from. But I transitioned over about 2017, started just really doing podcasting and counseling full time, and it took off, and that's where I'm at now. So yeah, so my followers definitely follow me about my counseling, like the tips, because I do a daily word, affirmations for recovery, where I talk about recovery. I talk about the word of the day, and it's all about adding that little bit of motivation to every individual. Yeah.
That was actually one of the things I was going to say to you, was that if you look at anybody who looks at your website, your Instagram, blogs, and the things that you write, the one word that I see coming up as a recurring theme is that word recovery.
Yes.
So do you look at the process of recovery? How does that work for you, and how do you try to help people with recovery from whatever it may be they're recovering from?
So great question. Recovery is a mindset. I start up there. I start at the top of the food chain when I think about recovery, right? So I really help people get their minds right, because that's where, when you get your mind right, then you can apply that to substances, you can apply that to trauma, you can apply that across the board. But it's really about, learning how to process information better and unlearning and relearning. That's a process. It takes time, it takes discipline. It takes a lot. It's a regimen. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I always believe, and I think most people will agree, that mental health is not a one size fits all. Everyone is an individual. One person's problem could be somebody else's ease.
Yes.
Even the level of a particular type of illness, one person could be suffering from it very severely and have it in a very debilitating way. Another person can have it very light. So
yes.
How do you find out what level somebody is at?
It all starts with an assessment. You have to have an assessment. You have to really sit down, focus, get into the heart and soul of a person to figure out what the actual need of that person is. And for me, I love it. I love what you said, because recovery, addiction, anything that you go through is individualized. There is no one size fits all. You know what I mean? So you got it. Everything starts with an assessment.
Yeah. Now, when I look at a lot of people that work in the mental health field, quite often they've had issues themselves, either childhood trauma, abuse, addiction, and some of those things. And through their own recovery, they have come into that field and turned it into a profession to help others. Do you have any kind of background that brought you there, or was it just a natural calling for you?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I'm a substance abuse and mental health counselor. So both of them for me, they go hand in hand. I'm in recovery. I grew up in a home that was heavily drug affected, for lack of just the best way to say it, it was drug affected. So living through that and just being a part of it, I grew up just affected, and I wanted to have the experience of working with somebody, and they were unavailable. I could not find anyone that I could connect to. So I decided to be the change that I wanted to see. Yeah. So that's what got me into counseling. Just real life experiences and needing a counselor. Yeah.
But you also mentioned that you were in the music industry, so this must have been a complete career change for you.
Well, no, not really. Honestly, because while I was in the music business, I played the role of a manager. So my day-to-day job was actually managing artists, and I was counseling. I was counseling, and with social media kind of being on the uprise, I was also podcasting too. So it was a combination of both. I left the music business alone, but I still kept the passion, because people are dealing with a lot. And an artist, man, to be a great artist, man, a lot of those people are suffering in silence, and they put it out in their craft. So to me, they went hand in hand.
Yeah. And I've spent most of my professional career in finance, and that's something I've often found with the business world, that actually one of the most lonely jobs is the CEO. Because you end up having to make your own decisions, and decisions for everybody else, and be responsible for everything. And I think it's very underrated in many ways.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's lonely at the top. That is the saying. It is very lonely, and at the same time, success is a team sport. So even as a CEO, I pride myself in finding the great teammates, because you cannot have success without a strong team. Yeah. And Mendables is a strong team, and that's why when I jumped at the opportunity to be able to come and sit down. I'm a proud member of Mendables in the States. Yes.
Yeah. And how did you find Mendable? I always ask that question of most people, but how did you come across it?
I actually Jahan, I was working with him in Clubhouse in another room, in another space, and I was frequently going there, and he was coming in that space, always talking about it, bigging it up, saying, man, you need to come over here, especially me as a counselor. He was like, man, it's a great space. And one thing led to another. I met Sophie in the space, and I fell in love. I was stuck. I was stuck the first time. I miss it often now because I do live in the States and it's open at noon. It starts at noon my time, and that's like the heart and soul of working on the front line. So it's hard for me to always be in those spaces. But when I found it, I disconnected with life for a little while so I could be a part of that mission for a while. And I was in there for about a year and a half, just faithfully, just going every Monday, Thursday. And yes, it's a great, OMG, it's just a great family. It's a great family. It's a great village, a great community. Yes. Even though even though the founder is in the UK, I do understand that. But she has a reach. She's so powerful. Like Mendables is powerful. Yeah.
And we hope it's going to get more so. And one of the things that we are looking to do, we're recording this right now in October of 2024, but about a year from now, the plan is that we're going to hold a Mendable conference.
Yes.
In October of 2025. Plan is to do it in Atlanta in the US on the East Coast.
Absolutely. Shout out to Corey. We got to shout him out because he's spearheading that. I definitely got your back. I'll definitely be helping you with the planning. I know some other people, Miss Loyalty, Miss Cassandra Mitchell, she's in Atlanta as well. So we gonna pull that off. It's gonna be a major event. Are you coming, Dave?
Oh, most definitely. I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, yes. This is gonna be. It's even that much more exciting. I'm that much more excited. Yes.
Yeah. Sophia and I will definitely come, and I've lived in the US for more than half my lifetime, so America is still very much home for me. Although I grew up here in the UK, and I'm back living here now.
I want to come over there. Yeah. I really want to come over there. I've yet to experience that experience. I've been in a few different countries, but not the UK yet. So okay. I definitely got that on my list. I want to come and see you, Sophie, and I think Mark. Shout out to Mark. I mean, I always see him in those Mendable spaces, man. I would just want to put my arms around you guys, man. I'm a big advocate of hugging people. Hugging is therapy. That's one of my modalities that I use. A strong modality. Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of hugs. There's Ella.
Yes.
There's Darren.
I do. Yep. Shout out to
Darren. And I know I'll stop there because I know I'm going to miss people off, and I don't want to offend anyone. But there's great people here in the UK.
What about Jody? Is Jody still part of the crew? Because I've been off recently. But Jody, I shout out to Jody. I remember when I first started coming, Jody is one of those voices that I remember that just stood out. He was powerful. He always poured in. But nobody's stronger than Jahan though. I gotta give Jahan his. He is like God's chosen people. I know when he passes away, and 100 years from now, they'll be telling stories about Jahan like they do about Jesus. That's just what I believe, because he is one of God's chosen people, like personal people. Yeah, I love Jahan, man. Like I can't wait to see him in the flesh. I have yet to see him in the flesh. That's like, one of those things. I'm like a kid in a candy store. When I think about it, I just get excited. Like, ooh, I get to see John. Ooh. So I'm super excited. I have that feeling about Sophie too. Meeting you and Sophie together, I'm just like, wow. I'm just wowed. Okay. So let me shut up before I take over the whole. Excuse me. I'm excited. Yes.
We're talking about good stuff. So one thing I'd ask you, and of course you can't and you wouldn't talk about individual clients or anything like that, but what are some of the moments in your counseling career that make you feel really proud, where you've really made a difference?
Man, that's a great question. And I'm telling you, because I do this work, believe it or not, it's not for the money. It's for the service of the people. And what makes me the most happy is seeing people smile. That's a goal that I do. I challenge myself every day, is to put one smile on one person's face. If I can do that every single day, I'm doing the work. I don't make it bigger than that, but I do a lot to make that happen. But that is all I need. It's just one smile on somebody's face, man. Smiling is contagious, and it's very therapeutic. So that's just me. So that's what's the highlight of my whole career, is making people smile. Yeah.
And I don't know what the statistic is, but I know it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown.
Absolutely. But when you think of the people, And what a lot of people are going through, it's a challenge to just find that smile, just to find a reason to smile. And I get it. I've been there and I've done that. I've wore those outfits before. So now I'm on a mission to show people, even in the darkest places, you can still find a way to smile. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, once you learn how to do that, life just becomes that much more better. You know, it's always going to be something. Always. If you know, it's not always kisses, hugs, and beautiful words. That's just not how life is designed, right? We have to learn how to persevere even in the roughest moments. So I specialize in that. I pride myself. I study every single day how to get better at it. Yeah, and how to teach others how to do it. And that's my passion.
Now, what about somebody who is struggling with their mental health? They know that things are not right. They may not know what is going on with them, but they're really struggling in some way. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to say to people. What advice would you give to someone who's in this space of life of, I just don't feel right. I know something's wrong, but I don't know what it is?
I would encourage that person to go talk to somebody. You know, I feel like, you know, and talk to the right people. Let me say that even better. Talk to the right people. There are licensed professionals that are geared to do that, to actually take on that type of, you know, challenge. I wouldn't recommend talking to just anybody, you know, because they can add more stress to what you're going through. So definitely talk to a professional and find somebody to connect with. You know, trouble don't last forever. It just doesn't. It's just not designed to do that. There's always a bright side to everything. And I'm living proof. I've been through the worst. Man, we can go on and on. It'll take me probably a series of podcasts to be on this show to let y'all know how much stuff I've been through, and I still go through. It's an everyday challenge, man. It's like life has always got something going on. You know what I mean? It really does. It never changes. It never stops. It's how you deal with it that really defines everything that goes on around you. You know. And for me, I just choose happiness over stress. Like regardless, like I still have my mother and my father, but if something was to happen, because death is imminent, they will pass at some point. I still would choose joy. I think God blessed me with them as long as He blessed me with them. And it's time to celebrate that. That's my attitude with life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not wishing death on them by no means. I'm not saying, Mom and Dad, let's go. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that when that time comes, I do believe that everything happens according to God's plan. And I don't challenge that. I find the joy in it. Yeah.
And then do you feel there are times that everything can seem very fragile, even when things are going right? That, you know, maybe you're in a good space professionally, family-wise, you can be financially secure, but life can be very vulnerable. Things can be very fragile. Absolutely. And I'm a great believer in, if things are going well and you feel in a good place to be able to embrace that, you should take advantage of it now, because not to be depressing or morbid or anything, or to put a downer on it, you don't know what tomorrow holds.
Hello. That's it. That's pretty much my philosophy. That, you know, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Trouble doesn't last always. These are things that I remind myself. When in doubt, I pick up the toolbox and I open it up and I say, man, what tool am I going to use today? Am I going to use a hammer? Am I going to use a screwdriver? But the ultimate goal is to find my happy place, to find my way to my happy place. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And I teach people how to do that. That's the art. And it's a lost art. I don't think there's a lot of people that have that ability. You know what I mean? And yeah. I'm just blessed. I'm thankful to God first, because He blessed me with that, with that type of energy. Like, that's my energy, you know, in a bottle. So.
Yeah. Now, 4 years ago, the world was hit with a global pandemic, and that affected many, many people in many different ways.
Yes, sir.
How did you, professionally, how did you deal with that? Presumably before the pandemic, you were probably doing most of your meetings one-on-one with clients, and you had to go to 100% remote. How did that work for you? How did it work for your clients?
It actually worked pretty well. I'm a glass half full type of person. So when it was time to pivot, I pivot with a smile, right? I just, I took the bumps and the bruises. Of course, it was foreign to everybody. And it was hard to connect because people still wanted that, that one-on-one, that energy. They want to be a part of. They want to feel it, and it's still happening now. Even after the pandemic, we're back transitioning to the one-on-ones. Being able to do things in in an open setting. But for me, that pandemic actually helped me. It helped me get where I am today. It actually helped me. It showed me how to, because life is all about change. It's all about how you adapt to change. Yes, and that's what it was. That was a pandemic that taught everybody how to change. Yeah. So.
And also that with change comes opportunity.
Yeah. Say that again. Say that one more time.
With change comes opportunity.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Okay? And good evening to you guys, too, because you guys are, you're in the UK this morning for me, but that was a message in itself. That was the moral to the whole podcast, to me. You know what I'm saying? You definitely said a mouthful, David.
Hey, before we wrap up, just one last thing. Would you tell me a little about your podcast channel? What do you do on there?
Oh, yes. Thank you. It's Affirmations for Recovery. It's a daily message, again, about positivity. I took negative words and I found a way to put a creative spin on them. Like, I have a journal. It's a great way just to promote myself, right? This journal's on Amazon. I actually have 3 publications dedicated to the recovery space, but this is a journal that we do every single morning. So day 1, there's a word for day 1 all the way to day 30, and it's designed to actually help you get your mind right, because that's what recovery is to me. It's not a substance. It's to me, it's more of a mental. It starts in the mental. You know what I mean? It starts in how we think, how we talk, how we say things, how we process information. Remember, words have power. I'm one of those people that in my groups, there's no trying. We eliminate the word try. We cannot use the word try in my groups, because either you're doing it or you don't do it. You may fall short, you may whatever, but when you program your mind, when you think about recovery, when you program in your mind to think trying, that allows yourself that space to fail, or like to be comfortable with failing. Like, okay, well, I tried, I did it. No, I'm striving. I did that. Either, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of my cheat sheets. That's one of the tools that I use to help people. So that's a little bit about me. I'm easy to find. I'm on all platforms. Affirmations for Recovery. If you wherever you subscribe to podcasts, you can probably see my beautiful face there. Or YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. Analyze This Topic. All one word. Analyze This Topic. I have a show with my wife. It's called Meet the Allens. I've been with my wife since 7th grade. Not been with her like that, but I've been knowing her. We've been going the roller coaster since 7th grade. We have 2 children, a 27-year-old and an 18-year-old son, a 27-year-old daughter, and it's all about perspective. So we have a show that we talk about perspective, and then I have my own thing where I talk about counseling, the new world order of counseling, and that's what Affirmations for Recovery it is. So I appreciate all the subscribers and share. I need UK popping. I need everybody watching in UK. That's what I need. So then y'all can invite me over there and I can come preach my gospel. Yes. I would love to come to UK and preach this gospel. Yes.
Maybe what we do is the second Mendable conference we do here in the UK, and then we bring people.
That would be freaking phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. I'm so sincere. I'm gonna get over there before the end though, because I can't wait. I mean, really, I'm literally planning. I have my passports. I have enough reason. I have you. I can come see you. If nothing else, I'll just come see you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome anytime.
Absolutely. Say that again. I might come, man. I might be over there in the next couple months, man. I got an anniversary I'm celebrating with my beautiful wife. 16 years on the 28th of November. So I haven't found a destination for us yet, but usually we go out the country. In the last couple of years, we've been going out the country.
So. And I do believe that's Thanksgiving this year.
That is Thanksgiving. We got married 16 years ago on the day after Thanksgiving. It was a Thursday, or it was a Friday. It was that Friday, but Thanksgiving was the day before. Yes. So
Right. Got it. So thanks everyone for watching. If you look in the narrative down below, I have put all of EA's links to social media, his podcast channel, his website, so you can go and take a look at that. And just a reminder, the Mendable Room meets every Monday and every Thursday, 3 p.m. East Coast time in North America, noon West Coast, and 8 p.m. here in the UK. And I won't give every time zone throughout the world, but you can probably find us from those. So, EA, thank you for joining me today. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, your perspectives.
absolutely. Please have me back anytime. Please have me back anytime. Man, support is an action word. So action.